Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Town of Grand Falls-Windsor Council meeting for today, March 26th, 2024. We too have a couple of proclamations to read. So before we call the meeting to order, I will read these proclamations. The first one is for Purple Day for Epilepsy, March 26th. Whereas Purple Day is a global effort to promote epilepsy awareness in countries around the world, and whereas Purple Day was founded by 9-year-old Cassidy Megan of Nova Scotia, who wanted to let people know that if you have epilepsy, you are not alone. And whereas epilepsy is a chronic neurological disorder which affects each person differently, estimated to affect over 10,000 people in Newfoundland and Labrador, and over 300,000 people in Canada, and 50 million people worldwide. And whereas 1 in 10 persons will have at least one seizure during their lifetime, and whereas the public is often unable to recognize common seizure types and unable to respond with appropriate first aid. And whereas Purple Day will be celebrated on March 26th annually to increase understanding, reduce stigma, and improve the quality of life for people living with epilepsy throughout the country and globally. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Mike Brown, Deputy Mayor of Grand Falls-Windsor, do hereby proclaim March 26th as Purple Day in an effort to raise the awareness and understanding of epilepsy and to support all those who live with seizures each day. And I'll sign this, Mr. Finn, and pass it on to you. And the second proclamation is for Green Shirt Day. Whereas, after the devastating events of the Humboldt Broncos bus crash that took the lives of 16 passengers, Humboldt Broncos defenseman Logan Boulay succumbed to his injuries April 7th. And whereas Logan's parents, Bernadine and Toby Boulay, offered to donate his organs so that 6 lives could live on. And whereas Logan had registered as an organ donor after being inspired by his coach and mentor, Rick Sujit, who was also an organ donor and saved 6 lives when he passed in 2017. And whereas, as news spread of the organ donation by this young hockey player, it is estimated that almost 150,000 people registered to become organ donors in the days and weeks that followed. To date, this is the largest number of Canadians registering to become organ donors in Canadian history due to one event. And whereas Green Shirt Day was created to honor, remember, and recognize all the victims and families of the fatal crash and to continue Logan's legacy by inspiring Canadians to talk to their families and register as organ donors. Therefore, I, Deputy Mayor Mike Brown of the Town of Grand Falls-Windsor, do hereby proclaim April 7th, 2024 as Green Shirt Day, and I encourage all citizens to wear green, register their decision to become an organ donor and tissue donors, and share their decision with their family. I'll sign that also, Mr. Finn. I'll get it to you. Okay, I'll call meeting number 590 to order. And before we begin, I would say our mayor is under the weather this evening, and really under the weather too. He's a significant cold there, and passes on his apologies, and we all hope that he's feeling better in the days ahead. First order of business, the adoption of minutes for the previous meeting. Can I get a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Hiscock, second by Councillor Knoll. Any errors or omissions? No errors or omissions. Any business arising from the minutes? And no business arising. We have a motion and a seconder. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Now we'll move on to our disbursement report. Councillor Dwyer, please.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, I move the disbursement report dated March 12, 2024, in the amount of $1,411,765.42.
Thank you, Councillor Dwyer. Is there a seconder for Councillor Dwyer's motion, please? Councillor Knoll, thank you very much. Any discussion with respect to the disbursement report? There being none, all in favour? Any opposed? Motion carried. Now we'll move into our committee reports, and the first committee report this evening is Community Services, and I'll call on Councillor Little to read the minutes of the Community Services Committee meeting, please.
Thank you. Community Services met 5 p.m. Tuesday, March 12th, 2024. Present were Chairperson Deputy Mayor Mike Brown, members Councillor Holly Dwyer, Councillor Andrew Little, Mayor Barry Manuel, Councillor Amy Cody, Councillor Bob Hiscock, Councillor Dave Knoll, staff Darren Finn, Chief Administrative Officer, Robin Hannaford, Communications Officer, and Todd Mercer, Director of Community Services. MMSB funding approval. The Director gave the committee an update on the funding application approval from the Multi-Material Stewardship Board to purchase a wood chipper. This equipment will be used at the compost site as well as on-site jobs around town where brush is concerned. Fourth Grand Falls Beaver Colony correspondence. The committee reviewed the correspondence from the 4th Grand Falls Beaver Colony requesting the use of department equipment during the 50th anniversary celebrations scheduled for the summer. The committee recommends that the Community Services Department assist the group with the requirements as per our community loan-out policy. The committee also recommends that we honor this special accomplishment with the presentation of a plaque highlighting the 50th anniversary of beavers in Canada. Stewardship Association of Municipalities. The Director informed the committee that the planning for the SAM meetings being hosted in Grand Falls-Windsor on April 19th and 20th are well underway, and all councillors are encouraged to participate in the sessions during the weekend. Town band invited guest Mike Snellgrove at 6 p.m. The committee received a presentation from Mike Snellgrove on the town band's invite to St. John's for a workshop, training, and performance opportunity to take place this May. Mr. Snellgrove gave a historical background of the group, the community events that they play for, and their significance to the town for new and existing residents. The committee recommends that the Director of Community Services meet with Mr. Snellgrove to discuss their requirements and provide some financial assistance to offset their costs. Caliber Mining correspondence. The Director informed the committee that they have received their community allotment from Caliber Mining for 2024. This year's allotment will be used for the Kelly Ford Exploits Valley Salmon Festival, Perfectly Centered Culinary Festival, and for the Christmas Light Up. The committee would like to sincerely thank Caliber Mining for the community allotment and looks forward to working with the company on future community projects. Midwinter Beaver update. The Director informed the committee that the 11th annual Midwinter Beaver scheduled for March 8th and 9th has been canceled due to poor weather and unsafe riding conditions along the scheduled route. The department will look at options to host a one-day event if conditions allow in the next month, and will look at dates and start planning for 2025. Special events update. The Director informed the committee that program plans for the spring and fall are well underway. Programs planned include the Munn Nursing Student Burger Bowl event on March 14th, Seniors Bowling event on March 21st, and the Community Easter Egg Hunt on March 30th, 2024, and the 90s dance event scheduled for May 4th. The committee reminds residents that events will be promoted through the town's Facebook page and to be attentive to the dates and times of registration because some events have limited availability. Ticket program update. The Director informed the committee that training has been ongoing for the town's new online ticketing software and that it will be used for ticketing to most events and programs moving forward. Youth Advisory Committee. The Director informed the committee that work is still ongoing to start up a youth advisory committee in the community. The committee recommends that community services staff work with the local high school and local post-secondary institutions to identify youth representatives for this committee and report back at a future meeting. New business. curling band spiel. The committee had some discussions about the curling club's first band spiel in a few years. The committee recommends that the director check with the club to see if space is available for the band spiel, and if available, the town should enter a team. Program entertainment options. The director informed the committee that several entertainment acts have approached the department to see if there's any interest in hosting 2024 events. The committee discussed the possible shows, but recommends not hiring any additional acts that are not budgeted for 2024 at this time. Woodland Primary School. The director informed the committee that he has received a request from Woodland Primary School for the use of a piece of town equipment for March 19th. The committee recommended that the director assist the school as per our loan-out policy. School of Nursing. The director informed the committee that he has received a request from the 2027 nursing class for looking for town swag for an event that the class is hosting. The committee recommends the director work with the group and assist where possible. The meeting adjourned at 6:45 p.m. and I move the recommendations and report of this committee.
Thank you, Councillor Little. I get a seconder for Councillor Little's motion. Councillor Cody. Any discussion on the Community Services Committee minutes? Councillor Dwyer.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Just with respect to the special events update, some of the events have taken place and some are still upcoming. I was able to attend the MUN student, nursing student burger bowl, as was Deputy Mayor. It ended up being a pizza bowl, but very well attended. And the nursing students certainly appreciated the town hosting that event for them. It's important that we, continue to build relationships with our nursing students. We're in a situation where it is crucial that we try to retain our nursing students, and so the whole point of having a nursing school here, hopefully, is that those graduates will someday want to live in Grand Falls-Windsor, start families here, and we won't be in the crisis that we're in right now with respect to healthcare workers. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Warren. Yes, it was a great evening. I was really impressed with the attendance. Number of nursing students that attended the event. They had a great time bowling, and as you mentioned, some pizza after, and a chance to communicate with them all, and put a plug in for Grand Falls-Windsor and tell them Grand Falls-Windsor is a great spot to live, and you should stay here when you graduate. So it went over really well, and I know the nursing, we had a nice email from the nursing students after that, and thanking us for the evening. Any more business with respect to the community services minutes? Okay, I just had a couple of things there. The first is the curling club. We were glad to see the curling club able to open this winter when it looked for a long time that as a result of mechanical failures at the curling club, it didn't. They are just still going on with the year. They had it was not as successful as they hoped, but like I said, they did start up too well after Christmas, and the season was half over. But congratulations to that executive and their determination to keep curling and the curling club open in Grand Falls-Windsor. And they look forward to more members joining next season, and certainly the town of Grand Falls-Windsor will assist in any way possible to ensure that curling is a sport here in Grand Falls-Windsor that can be enjoyed by anybody who would like to participate. And that was one thing, and then what was the other thing I had? The town band. It was a great meeting with Mr. Snowgrove, who's the director of our town band. The town band only has one complaint, is that they don't get to play often enough, and are not asked to play often enough. The Grand Falls-Windsor town band is only one of 3 bands that are a part of the municipalities in Newfoundland and Labrador. So we're very fortunate to have the town band, and we're only too happy to assist. And like I said, we'll try to get them out more often and playing our events more often as well, because like I said, that's the only complaint they had. So we'll take care of that for them, and people can look forward to seeing more of the town band. And of course, the Midwinter Biver, we had hoped to maybe reschedule it at the end of March or early April, but that's not going to happen now. We're getting some nice weather, and the snow is leaving us, unfortunately. Unfortunately for the ones that would have enjoyed the Midwinter Biver. But we'll try again next year. That was a great event. When it happens, it's just a tremendous event and well attended by people, not only in Grand Falls-Windsor, but across the island and even in Atlantic Canada. So we'll try again next winter, for sure. All right, we have a mover and a seconder. Any more business arising from the Community Services minutes? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Next up, Councillor Dwyer with the Corporate Services Committee minutes, please.
Following are the minutes for corporate services held 6:45 p.m. Tuesday, March 12, 2024. Present were myself as chair, Councillor Amy Cody, Councillor Dave Knoll, Deputy Mayor Mike Brown, Councillor Bob Hiscock, Councillor Andrew Little, and Mayor Barry Manuel. Staff in attendance were Darren Finn, our Chief Administrative Officer, Steve Goss, Director of Corporate Services, and Robin Hanford, our Communications Officer. Labor report. The committee reviewed the labor costs as of week 9. Total labor was $599,070. This was $24,331, or 4.2% over budget. The committee recognizes the amount of extra work that has occurred recently, from snow events to water breaks to emergency plant maintenance at our stadiums. The committee thanks staff for their efforts so far in 2024 and encourages management to continue to monitor the labor budget as we move along in 2024. Tax receivables analysis. The committee reviewed tax receivables as of February 29th, 2024. Total receivables at the end of February 2024 are $17,903,724. 2023 was $17,324,018, a 3.4% increase. Collections remain a top priority for staff moving forward, and the committee recommends staff to utilize all avenues for tax collections to ensure improvement is made in this area in 2024. Residents and businesses are reminded that the deadline to pay your taxes without interest is coming up on Monday, April 1st, 2024. Disbursement report. The committee reviewed the disbursement report in the amount of $1,411,765.42 and recommends this be presented at the next council meeting. Resident correspondence, Vine Street. The committee reviewed correspondence from a resident on Vine Street who was recently provided with a bill for the costs related to the demolition of their property. The committee recommends staff respond to the correspondence to better explain the charges included on the invoice. Correspondence, business tax. The committee reviewed correspondence from a local business owner regarding the level of taxation on their business. The committee recommends staff reach out to the business owner to have a discussion about their taxes and to answer any additional questions the business owner may have. Asset management policy. The committee reviewed a draft policy regarding asset management for the town of Grand Falls-Windsor. The policy is intended to guide staff and council making decisions relating to the maintenance and replacement of infrastructure, facilities, and other assets. The committee recommends this policy be adopted as presented. The meeting adjourned at 7:30 p.m., and I move the recommendations and report of this committee.
Thank you, Councillor Dwyer. Can I get a second there for you? Thank you, Councillor Little. Second by Councillor Little. Any discussion on the corporate services minutes? Councillor Dwyer.
Thank you. It isn't often that we see our labor costs over budget, but obviously the few snowfalls that we had since the beginning of the year contributed to that, obviously, as we mentioned. In terms of the taxation receivable analysis, we have a 3.4% increase in receivables, and obviously we would like to see that come down. As we said, we have a commitment. There's going to be greater effort put into receivables, and I guess an explanation for that would be that our assessments have gone up, so that would account for the increase in the receivables.
Thank you very much. And with respect to your comment, yes, we had way more snow events in this winter than we had in the previous winter, which would certainly drive up our costs, and some surprises in both our stadiums with some significant maintenance issues. And our staff did a great job keeping those stadiums open because they are going concern. They're going all day and all night for the most part, and we're fortunate to have two stadiums. We need two stadiums, and we'd be lost without them. So, and our compliments to the staff, Mr. Chapman, for their quick and work on those mechanical issues at both stadiums. And the asset management policy, I serve on that committee, and certainly some great work being done, Mr. Chapman, on the asset management policy. And asset management, what we'll be able to do after that project is complete is determine when infrastructure needs to be replaced and where it needs to be replaced well in advance of it having to be replaced. We just completed a big infrastructure project in Union Street this past summer. And so in 50 years' time, 40 years' time, whoever's here, I doubt if any of us will be, they'll come up on their computer that Union Street, you need to have a look at the Union Street infrastructure. It was placed in 2023, and now we're into 2073, and we need to go down and have a look. And had this, of course, asset management policy is new, not just in Grand Falls-Windsor, but across the country. But it had to have been a thing. Back in the day, I don't think we'd be having the issues we had with the brown water, discolored water that we've had, unfortunately, over the last few months. Any more business with respect to the Corporate Services Committee meeting? We have a mover and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Next up, Councillor Cody, please, in the Public Works and Development Committee minutes.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Public Works and Development Committee met on Wednesday, March 13th at 5 p.m. In attendance, myself as the chairperson, Deputy Mayor Mike Brown, Councillor Bob Hiscock, Mayor Barry Manuel, Councillor Dave Knoll, Councillor Holly Dwyer, and Councillor Andrew Little. Staff included Darren Finn, Chief Administrative Officer, Nelson Chapman, Director of Public Works and Development, Chad Clendenning, Manager of Development, and Robin Henneford, Communications Officer. Water quality. The committee was presented with a report from Mr. Reg Hedges of All North Consultants Limited regarding the water quality issues that the town has been experiencing. Mr. Hedges remained at the meeting for further discussion and to answer questions about his findings. The report does indicate that the main issue is a result of old cast iron piping in areas with low flow. One of the key recommendations is to consider automatic flushing valves in these key areas. Mr. Hedges noted that the efforts of the town staff to mitigate the issues are commendable, and he has confidence in their abilities and knowledge. The committee recommends that staff focus on the key recommendations of the report and follow up with the cost of equipment and materials to complete the work. Mr. Hedges and Mr. Clendenning left the meeting at 6:10 p.m. The committee reviewed a request for land adjacent to the property at 29 Bond Street, formerly owned by, or that was formerly First Avenue in the town of Windsor. The land has been used by both the residents of 29 Bond Street and 176 Main Street for their driveways. The committee recommends staff bring more information on the use and permits issued at a future committee meeting. 296 Grenfell Heights. The committee reviewed a request from staff on purchasing a piece of property at 296A Grenfell Heights. This property is in a proposed future subdivision in the town's long-term planning. The land is estimated to be approximately 3 hectares. The committee recommends staff begin negotiations for a price for the property and to bring back to committee for consideration. 7 Church Road, outside patio area. The committee reviewed a request from the owner of 7 Church Road to permit use of an outside area by patrons of the Grand Rodeo. Municipal approval is required to expand the NL liquor license to include this area. The regulations note that council can permit such use. The committee recommends this be approved. Rezoning request Queensway. The committee reviewed a request from EZ Property Holdings Limited to rezone a parcel of land west of their current property at 42 Queensway. This request is to rezone the land from conservation zone to high-density multi-unit residential to facilitate construction of another 4-unit building. The committee recommends this be approved and to begin the rezoning process. Our meeting adjourned at 7:35 p.m. I move the recommendations and report of the committee.
Thank you, Councillor Coley. We had a motion. Can I get a seconder? Councillor Dwyer, thank you very much. Any discussion on the Public Works and Development Committee meeting minutes? Councillor Coley?
I just wanted to just speak a little more on the presentation, the report by Mr. Reg Hedges. An excellent, excellent report. Very informative. A lot of great information in that report. Highlighted the work that he did along with our staff and especially with Jason Stone. They're working on his consultant or partner, company partner is working on the flushing plan, the flushing program. That's hard to say. So that'll be straightened out in the next little while. So we'll start that now in the spring when we start our flushing again. So the changes in how we do that should really help with some of the discoloration that we were seeing. The report from Mr. Hedges, he really went into a lot of detail. They did a lot of work, made recommendations on things that we can try. They have tried certain things. They seem to be getting positive results. So again, we're going to continue to do the work to resolve any of the discoloration issues that we were having. And we look forward to positive results with the new flushing program as well. And the other thing I just wanted to touch on, my screen will move, is the rezoning on Queensway. So that is the area out next to the SO where the two quadplexes are currently. So that'll be a third quadplex. Very happy to see that that is going to move forward. We are in desperate need of housing in our community. So, every additional unit that we can make happen, we need to do our best to make sure that they do happen. If we want our community to grow, we need to have places for people to live. So I would encourage residents to continually watch our Facebook page, follow along with our meetings. There will be, instances of rezoning notifications, discretionary use notices, things like that going out on our Facebook constantly now as we move forward with plans for additional housing. So, please pay attention to the announcements, and if you have any questions, reach out to us and we will answer them the best that we can, so that everybody is informed on what the plans are as we move forward, so we don't run into confusion or delays once things start to reach a certain level where they're progressing. So just again encourage people to make sure they follow our Facebook page, our social medias, and our website. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cody. Any more business arising from the minutes? And I'll just note too that Mr. Mr. Hedges from All North Consultants is originally from Grand Falls-Windsor, born and raised here, and had done some work initially on the infrastructure back in the day. So to have him back and to have him familiar with the way the infrastructure is laid out is definitely a bonus for sure. Okay, no further business. All in favour? Any opposed? Motion carried. Next up is Committee of the Whole, and I'll ask Councillor Knoll to read the minutes of the Committee of the Whole, please.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. The Committee of the Whole met on Monday, March 18th at 5 p.m. In attendance were Mayor Barry Manuel, Chairperson, members Councillor Amy Cody, Councillor Holly Dwyer, Councillor Bob Hiscock, Councillor Andrew Little, and myself. Staff in attendance, Darren Finn, Chief Administrative Officer, Nelson Chapman, Director of Public Works and Development, Steve Goss, Director of Corporate Services, Todd Mercer, Director of Community Services. Citizen request at 66 Goodyear Avenue. A citizen requested a meeting with council. The committee recommends that staff arrange for the resident to meet with the committee at a future scheduled meeting. Excuse me. The mayor's not the only one that's a little under the weather today. 29 Bond Street, property transfer. A lawyer representing individuals purchasing the property has requested the transfer of a section of land. The committee recommends that follow up with the lawyers, providing information with the town records, and supporting the transfer as needed. Housing Accelerator Fund. The committee discussed the status of the application and recommends that staff follow with CMHC for an update and develop options for utilizing potential funds to support town development in 2024. Electric charging stations. Staff reported that $100,000 was approved from the Pollution Probe Foundation that's intended to go towards installing electric charging stations at an estimated projected cost of $200,000. The committee recommends accepting the arrangement, or the agreement, in planning the development of electric charging stations, parking areas in 2024. Grenfell Heights Extension Road Transfer. The committee discussed a tentative agreement with the provincial government to transfer a section of road for $1, with an additional $607,579 grant provided from the provincial government for upgrades. The committee recommends working to finalize the agreement and then proceeding with the planned road upgrades in 2024. Road patching initiatives. The committee discussed the recent observations about potholes emerging from the spring thaw. Try not hurt to laugh when I read that one. Due to these emerging potholes, the committee recommends that staff focus on filling potholes and maintaining roads until more substantial patching can be done in the summer. Canvas Organization Space Request. Canvas is requesting a meeting to discuss their space needs. The committee recommends arranging a future meeting time to discuss the organization's space and rental support needs. Snow clearing on Maloney Street. Following complaints about inadequate snow clearing on a section of Maloney Street, the committee recommends discussing the issue with supervising staff to prevent any future oversights. The meeting adjourned at 7 p.m., and I move the recommendations and reports of this committee.
Thank you, Councillor Knoll. We have a motion on the floor. Can I get a seconder? Councillor Little. Thank you very much. Any discussion on the Committee of the Whole minutes? Just to mention the Housing Accelerator Fund, we anticipate some good news coming from the Housing Accelerator Fund. I noticed some areas of the island, and money was announced for them, and we certainly hope that the same will be true for Falls-Windsor in the coming weeks. And certainly the Housing Accelerator Fund will do a lot to improve the housing needs here in Falls-Windsor, for sure. And we received a $100,000 grant for the electric charging stations for electric cars. And not only is that badly needed, but it'll certainly entice people to stop in Falls-Windsor on their way along to charge their car and probably do a bit of shopping and that kind of stuff. This will be a great, it'll be great to have those charging stations in Falls-Windsor. And when do we anticipate them being set up, Mr. Chapman? Do you know?
Summer, hopefully.
This summer, okay, that's what I anticipated. By the end of the summer. So that's just great news. And finally, first when I was fortunate enough to be elected in council in 2016, I met with a family down on Grenfell Heights Extension and about the condition of the road down there. Councillor Knoll was familiar with it, and of course we all are. We've all talked about this for years and years. And finally, the provincial government looks like they're going to turn over the road to us and include over a $600,000 grant to pave the section. So I know the people in Grenfell Heights, down in that end of Grenfell Heights and an extension, will be truly happy to finally have that road repaired. And as far as bad roads go, that's in our top 3, I think, for sure. So it'll be good to have that paved and give those people some peace and quiet, and they'll be able to bike up and down the road, kids will, without the threat of going off the road or falling in one of the many holes that have been there for quite some time. And I noticed the last few days we've had some great weather, and we're making a lot of headway, Mr. Chapman, with respect to patching of the potholes around town. I noticed a lot of work done the last 2 days, so that's just great. And we'll continue with that until such time as we're able to go at them this summer and hopefully permanently repair them. Okay, any more business with respect to the Committee of the Whole? We have a motion on the floor. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The motion is carried. Now we have a proclamation to read, a resolution rather, to read, and I would ask Councillor Knoll to read the resolution, please.
Thank you again, Deputy Mayor. As a resident of Grenfell Heights, I'm only too glad to read this one this evening. It's a resolution, Grenfell Heights Extension Transfer Agreement. It's GFW 2024-383. Whereas the town of Grand Falls, Windsor desires to accept an agreement from the government of Newfoundland to transfer ownership of Grenfell Heights Extension. Whereas this agreement will provide funds from the government of Newfoundland to the town of Grand Falls, Windsor, and therefore be it resolved that the town of Grand Falls, Windsor agrees to enter into a transfer agreement with the government of Newfoundland to provide support and upgrades at the end of Grenfell Heights, and will receive a sum of $607,579.30 to help with these upgrades. Proposed.
Yeah, you were going to propose that resolution. I need a seconder for the proposal. Councillor Dwyer, thank you very much. Any discussion with respect to the resolution?
Can we clap?
Yes, we can. Definitely. And certainly when once the road is paved, and we'll take ownership of the road, and we'll be responsible for the snow clearing or any future maintenance with that section of Grenfell Heights. All in favor of the resolution? Any opposed, rather? Sorry. Resolution is carried. Now we'll move into the notice of motion. Is there any notice of motion? There being no notice of motion, we'll move into other business. And first up tonight is Councillor Dwyer.
Thank you to Deputy Mayor. I just want to thank, this past week we held the Kiwanis Music Festival here in Grand Falls, Windsor. It is something that was a big part of my family's life while my children were growing up, and it's great to see that post-COVID, the numbers are starting to increase. I was able to attend a number of events, including Family Night and the solo speeches and the choirs, and represented council at the highlights of the festival on Friday. It was very well attended, excellent event, and I just want to thank the Kiwanis Club for continuing. That was the 57th annual Kiwanis Music Festival, and it gives our children a great opportunity to gain confidence and develop work ethic, communication skills. There's so many benefits that they don't even realize they will benefit from in the future. So thank you so much to the music teachers and the parents who encourage their children to get involved, and just a wonderful event. And I'm glad that we are continuing to have it here in our community. Not only for the benefits that it provides our children, but it brings a lot of business into the community that week as well, which is great. Also, last week, a number of us were able to attend Woodland Primary's welcome for the Special Olympians. It was a very nice event. The children lined up the halls and everyone cheered for the Special Olympians as they traveled through the school. And it was just so nice. It was very heartwarming. And as Mayor Manuel said at that event, those athletes truly represent sportsmanship and sport and what it should be about. So I have to say it was always is one of the nicest events that I get asked to attend as a councillor. So thanks for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Dwyer. And we'll move on to Councillor Cody.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I want to say congratulations to Northcliffe Drama Club. Myself and my mom went to see their presentation, Whispers in the Dark, which was their 2024 Provincial Drama Festival entry. And it was performed by Helen Grushy, Julie Humphreys-Burke, John L. Whalen, and Anya Williams. And for 4 actors, 2 main actors, that was a lot of lines and a lot of memorization, and they really did a fabulous job. Just a couple of cues from the side, but as soon as that cue came, they were right off and rhyming off the paragraphs and paragraphs of dialogue. So it was really great, and plus the presentation, the story was fabulous as well. A little bit spooky, actually, and the Gordon Pinsent Center for the Arts, when the lights are off in that center, it's a little spooky there anyway. So having little freaky things happening while you were watching the play in the dark, it certainly did set the mood. So it was great job to them. Just driving here this evening, I drove by Sutherland Drive Playground, and the place is blocked. It is blocked solid, so I would imagine we'll have our speed bumps out soon. But until that happens, I would encourage motorists to please be careful. You should be careful all the time. Watch your speeds, but especially now that the weather is getting good, the kids are getting outdoors. We're going into Easter week as well, so you're going to see a lot more activity with children on break, getting out and enjoying the weather in the playgrounds and all our facilities, riding their bikes and scooters and whatnot. So just caution when you're out driving around. Watch for walkers as well. A lot of people getting out, starting to walk again as well. So I notice people are wearing a lot of dark clothing and no reflectors, and it's really difficult to see them. So I would encourage, if you're a walker, to wear something reflective. If you're not wearing anything reflective, please try to stay on the sidewalks and make sure you're crossing the road in lighted areas so that you can be seen. The potholes were mentioned. I did notice the crew was out today. Seems like they're using some kind of sealant as well around the edges of the potholes. Hopefully it's like super glue and it's going to like keep the pavement in there. We'll see how well that works, but we'll try anything to see if we can extend the life on those pothole patches until we can get to do the real work, the cutting and the patching. So, have patience there. And if you do notice a pothole, please give us a call. Call dispatch at 709-489-0420. Just let them know the address or the vicinity of where the pothole is located so we can make sure that it doesn't get missed and that we can attend to it as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cody. And yes, it's not very often we can say in Grand Falls-Windsor that the playgrounds are full on March 26th, but that's a good thing, for sure. Councillor Knoll.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Yeah, it's to my chagrin that we're in the playgrounds this early, but we just had to cancel the midwinter beaver. A couple things for me this evening, and just to add to what Councillor just said about streetwalkers. It just flattens my brain when I drive down Gravel Heights and I see people on the wrong side of the road and it's dark, really dark, I can express my really dark, and they got the headphones on, they're on the wrong side of the road. I don't understand that, it's like, where that activities come from, and it's growing. And I don't think there's any driver in Grand Falls-Windsor wants to make a hood ornament of somebody getting some exercise, because we all know the importance of that. But, you're driving out on Tulet Drive, Hardy Avenue, and you still see a lot of these people out with headphones on, and it's dark, really, really dark, really, really dangerous. So I'm asking the public, put on something, because those people that are in Grand Heights walking, and they have the vests on, I mean, you can see them a mile away, a kilometer away, right? We're metric country, see them a kilometer away. But, they're safe, and it just floors me to see all these people out, and some of them with children as well, and some of them with little strollers, and it's really, really dark, and it's really, really dangerous. So come on, gang, give it the program here. Thanks for bringing it up, Councillor. And again, as the snow is receding, much to everybody else's delight, it's showing the evidence of the winter when these people, the litterbugs, lob stuff out the windows. So I'm just asking businesses to take a minute to send an employee out and clean up around your business. Every little bit helps versus, taking advantage of free labor from students and their community contribution hours, which we'll always do. But if businesses can take a minute and clean up around their property. Science Day and Science Week and Eclipse is coming up next week. I know there are probably lots of moms and dads out there thinking this is a big, great day because we're going to be, just about ground zero for a full total eclipse. We all hope for a nice sunny day. Just remind moms and dads that to check on the side of the glasses to make sure that they are ISO approved. You don't want any eye damage from looking directly at the sun with inappropriate sunglasses. So it's going to be a great time, actually. I'm looking forward to it. Right? As well, this is, as the snow recedes, the ground warms up. The ticks are going to be out again, sadly, shortly. And, growing up here in Grand Falls-Windsor, we never had to worry about ticks. They've been in like the toads are making an island-wide migration. But I have a few friends of mine with dogs who've had ticks, and the ticks are just debilitating. The dogs just shut down, and you see the rabbits around town, and they look also it's a purple blisters all over them. The tick population is significant. Excuse me, perhaps more so than many people think it to be. So take a moment, if you go for a walk with your pet, to check the pet over thoroughly, or perhaps even to have some tick and mosquito medications before you take your dog for a walk. And lastly, on my little list, we had talked about Green Shirt Day and the tragedy of the Humboldt Broncos. Being down to the high school all the time, the kids are coming to me all the time saying, "Sir, I got my license, got my license." And I politely remind them all the time, say, "Do you have the little heart on your driver's license?" And then they stop. And I say, "Well, you know, the little heart on your driver's license indicates that you're an organ donor." And I say, "Hope you don't ever cash that card in." But you never know in life. So I just encouraging residents, if you don't have the little heart on your driver's license, to go down and make the changes at government services and become an organ donor. And I'd really like it, you know, for anybody that is listening, provincial government, and likewise, I just think that it should be by default. I mean, you know, I just recently attended a funeral, and 2 friends of mine there, and 2 of them are organ recipients, and they're happy as could be today because they have kidneys that they received from somebody else. And on any given day, there's like 4,000 Canadians waiting organ transplants. So, you know, if we could have it by default that we all become organ donors, and you have to opt out of the program, I'd be much happier. But something for people to think about, and when you're talking to your MHAs and other politicians as well, maybe you guys can push this forward. And, you know, as in Nova Scotia, right, it's the default, right? You have to opt out of that. You are an organ donor by default. Sweet. Thank you, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Knoll. Some good information there. Thank you very much. Councillor Hiscock.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. This past Friday and Saturday, myself and our Chief Administrative Officer attended the Central Regional Meeting put up by Municipalities Newfoundland Labrador. And unfortunately, due to work commitments, our councillor and president couldn't be there Friday, but she was in attendance Saturday. It was a great event, well attended by all central representatives of councils. A lot of information. You know, some great workshops, some great topics were discussed. And hats off to our special events crew, Rod Drake, Angela Daw, and Rhonda Drake, for keeping refreshments and meals and snacks coming our way. And a lot of compliments from the people who attended the conference and how well it was done, and for our staff for the great job that they did putting this off. Also, Mr. Deputy Mayor, if I may, Saturday we attended the winter social, our staff's winter social. Myself and the CAO and Councillor Cody were there. Well attended. Well attended. Everybody that was there had a great time, and looking forward to next year. And hats off to the organizing committee for a job well done. Also, Deputy Mayor, I'd like to let people know that the fire department are recruiting. Our fire department is probably one of the best in Newfoundland. Well trained. It's a great thing to do. It's great volunteerism to do. So I would ask people, if you are so inclined to this field, contact Chief McKenzie or go to the depot at the dispatch and get an application filled out. Like I said, it's just a great way to get back to your town. And also today, Deputy Mayor, yourself and myself went out to deliver some certificates honoring people with birthdays. And today we were at Twin Town and gave a certificate to Mary Hines on her 90th birthday. And we're at Kingsway honoring Mr. Leslie White on his 90th birthday. So happy birthday and congratulations to those. And Leslie White, of course, we go back many, many years together, coming from 4th Avenue in Grand Falls, and of course worked with Leslie in the mill back in the day. And also Leslie is a former member of course, the Royal Canadian Navy. And he served there until an injury caused him to leave the military and, of course, seek employment then in the mill. But anyhow, congratulations to our residents on their 90th birthday. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hiscock. Councillor Little, please.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Just like to echo what Mr. Cody said about slowing down. Lots of kids getting inside now, and you'll be seeing them. The primary schools and the elementary schools, they'll be taking their kids outside more too. So you'll see a lot more kids around on the streets. So it's time to slow down, specifically in the areas where these children are, but everywhere. More people are getting out. This coming week, next week we'll be having all our minor hockey teams travel or host tournaments for their Easter tournaments, provincial tournaments. So I'd like to wish all them good luck, and I'm sure everyone else feels the same way. We have one. I think we have one Easter tournament here. You're convening, I believe, or
Yeah, the under 15 tournaments here on next Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Should be an excellent tournament. We get the Grand Falls-Windsor under 15 teams, very talented, and I encourage everybody to go down and have a look.
That's A division, right?
It is A
It's
division.
So that's as good as it gets
It is.
for under 15. So that'll be something to take in, and the frauds will be on.
Yes.
You know, we'll have frauds going and everything will be going down there. So it's another reason for people to go down. So yeah, I'd just like to wish all them good luck, and that's everything for me.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Little. Okay, I got a few things there. The first being the YMCA swimming pool. And we had a great winter of swimming at the YMCA. Last year we had some mechanical issues that ended up closing the pool on occasion, but not this winter. Mechanical issues worked well out there, and it was a good winter. The only issue with the swimming pool is that there's a shortage of lifeguards. So the YMCA are holding a national lifeguard course on the weekend of April 9th, or 13th rather, and the following weekend of April 20th. So I would encourage anybody out there who was a good swimmer and would like to participate in the national lifeguard course. It's available, and as I say, you'll get immediate employment because the YMCA are desperate for lifeguards, so much so that the swimming pool can't open on Sundays as a result of the lack of lifeguards we got. So if you know anybody that might be interested in becoming a lifeguard and earning a few dollars for themselves, and it doesn't matter, it's open to youth and adults and seniors, is open to everybody. So I encourage some people to think about that, and if you are interested in becoming a lifeguard, just go visit our YMCA and you'll get registered there, and they'll take care of you from there. A couple of sad notes this week. The first being the passing of one of our employees, Mr. Howard Sharp, Howie, as he was affectionately known. Just a sad day yesterday to hear the news of Howie's passing. The last Cataract game was here, I think, the last one or the previous one to that. We were walking into the game and stopped and spoke to Howie. And I told my buddy, we're in good hands here tonight. Howie Sharp is on the door. There won't be any trouble. And we had a little chat, and it was only 15 minutes later you texted me and said that Howie had gotten ill during his shift at the stadium, and unfortunately he didn't make it. So our condolences to his daughter Angelica and her family, and to the Sharp family as well. Howie was a great guy with a big heart and a great sense of humor, and he will be missed. And now we'll move on to the Cataracts. Cataracts came up a little short, I guess, last week, and unfortunately lost the championship series to Deer Lake 4-1. But it was just a great season for the Cataracts. I think they averaged almost 1,000 fans every game, which is very good for a 984-seat facility. So congratulations to Paul Levine and his executive and coaches and the players who participated with Cataracts all season this year. Like I said, they were well received by the town of Grand Falls-Windsor and all of Central Newfoundland, actually, not just our town. People travel from all over Central to go see the Cataracts. So congratulations, and we look forward to next year. And certainly we wish the Deer Lake Red Wings all the best in the Herder Playdowns, which begin this weekend at the CBS Arena. So good luck to Deer Lake. And on another sad note, the Cataracts lost their last man in the last couple of weeks in the passing of Stanley Coffin. Stanley had been president of the Cataracts since the early 2000s. I did all the fundraising for him, did all their book work, did all their travel plans, raised enough money to win multiple herders under his presidency, and certainly the Allen Cup was won under Stan as well. First got to know Stan in the early 80s when I was coaching minor hockey, and he was the general manager of the Adam All-Star team at that time. And his son Corey played in that. So that's how long Stan Coffin has been going around raising money for hockey teams, and not just hockey teams. Stan has raised money for the figure skating club and many other community groups in Grand Falls, Windsor. He's certainly a man of integrity, honesty, and very well respected in the community. So our condolences to the Cataract Organization and the Last Stand, and to his son Corey and his family, and to his daughter Jennifer and her family as well. Stan Coffin was one of the greatest citizens in Grand Falls, Windsor, I think, ever, and he will certainly be missed as well. So Godspeed, Stan. Okay, does it for me. Anybody else with any new business they'd like to proceed with this evening? If not, I'll call for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Hiscock and seconded by Councillor Cody. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Good night, everybody, and we'll see you back here in 3 weeks' time, and I'm sure Mayor Emanuel will be back as well. Thank you. Have a great evening.